Hello CAD students, this is Mr. Erickson again. I'm going to do a second demonstration for creating the front elevation for the final project for TAR 2054. So what we did last video was we drew this portion of the elevation. So if you haven't seen that video yet, go back and watch the part 1 for this demonstration. What we're going to do this time is we're going to create the railing down here, and we're going to make the louvers up here, and maybe we'll add in some of this detail down here. So in my project, the way I have this drawn, these are all the exact same distance. So that's 9 feet. This is 9 feet. And the last one is 9 feet. So from column to column, it's 9 feet, which is very beneficial because then I can just draw these once and copy them from one to the next. So I'm going to actually make a little area that I'm going to work on over here to the side. So what I'm going to do is draw a rectangle that kind of represents this space that I'm working. I'm going to make a rectangle here that goes from that corner to that corner, and I'll change the color of it so you can kind of see it. All right. So in that box there, that's where I'm going to be working. So I'm just going to move this to the side here, and move it over a known distance, a set distance of 25 feet, so I can remember that and I can copy it back. I copy this over, and I'm going to explode it using the explode command. So X brings up the explode command, press the space bar, click on it. All right. So the railing, the height of the railing is 36 inches. So I'm going to offset this bottom line, 36 inches, offset. And then the width of the top rail is, or the depth of it is 1.5 inches. So offset 1.5. And then at the bottom, there's a gap. And then there's the bottom rail. So I'm going to offset this 2.5 inches. And then I'm going to do a bottom rail. Okay, so now offset this 1.5 inches. So again, this is this one up here. I'm going to change the scale of this so you guys can see this a little bit better. So I'm going to dimension this. All right, so the distance from there to there is 3 feet. Distance from there to there is 1.5. The distance from there to there is 2.5, and the distance from there to there is 1.5. All right, so the railing, the vertical part of the railing is 2 inches wide, and the spacing in between, it varies, and it's an architectural decision, except for the fact that the maximum it can be is 4 inches. So the code description is that a 4-inch diameter sphere should not be able to pass through the vertical portion of the guardrail here. So I'm going to draw a vertical line, offset it 2 inches, and then if I copied this and I moved it from here and said from this point over 4 inches. Now, I guess in theory that would be the code maximum, but the way the code is written is that a 4-inch diameter sphere shouldn't be able to fit through there. So in this case, it would be very close. So I'm going to actually move it back like 1/2 inch. So now the distance between this one to this one is 3.5 inches. So once I have one set of that created, I can then just copy it multiple times. So start the copy command, select my two verticals here, not these two. These two are going to stay in place. Press enter. It says specify the base point. So if I click here, that's my base point. I'm going to go to the same spot on the one to the left and click, and you can see it maintains the spacing. And then click the same spot, click the same spot, click the same spot, and just work my way to the end. And then go back the other way. I can copy a bunch of these at once, so I can grab all those and do that. Now I want one more. I want actually one more than what I need. So there. Now what I want to do is just kind of center these on on the entire space here. So you can, in reality, you could do it kind of visually. I'm going to delete that last one. You could do it sort of visually. They're not going to build this from this drawing here, but you know, it's important to be precise. You're using a tool that is very precise. So the way to do this quickly is to select all of those, start the move command, hold down shift and right click, and then do midway between 2 points. So from this point to that point, and then I can snap to the midpoint of this line here. This is the red line right there. There's the midpoint snap. So now this is perfectly centered. So that's 3.5, and then over here that should be 3.5 there. So that's accurate. All right, at the top here, so that completes the railing. At the top, we have the louvers. Let me open up my PDF so you can see that. Right here, so you can see it. So these are the louvers right here. You can see them better in this picture right there. So that's kind of what we're representing. That's what we're going to be representing. Let me see, how many was there in the front? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 in there. So it should be equally spaced in between them. See how many to do here. So this one here, this one was done previously. This one's not equally spaced, so I'm gonna fix this in the one that I'm doing right now. So there's this space here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and each one of those spaces is, I'm gonna say, is 3 inches. So if you measure from there to there, that's 3 inches. So I have 5 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 that are 3 inches each. So that's 15 inches. So if I draw a line, so if I copy this line here, and then I shorten it by 15 inches. Okay, that line represents the distance from here to there. That represents each one of those. So if I move this over here, it's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to move this line over here. And then I copied it 4 times. End to end like this. That's what this line represents up here, this shortened one here. So I'm just going to divide that up now into 4 sections. So I'm using the divide command, D-I-V-I-D-E, divide. select the object to divide, enter number of segments, 4, enter. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I'm going to use the offset command. I don't even need to measure what the distance is from here to there. I can just start the offset command, click that point, and then use the node snap, N-O-D-E, enter, to right there. And then it takes that distance and puts it into the command. So now I have that distance in there. Now remember, it's this distance, but this needs to actually be moved over 3 inches. So, or I can copy it. Yeah, I can move it over 3 inches. So offset 3. Offset 3. I'm going to trim that. So copy. And then offset 3. Trim that. And then offset 3 on the top and the bottom. All right. So that one I didn't measure quite correct. I didn't dimension it quite correctly. I'm just going to dimension these just to verify. That last one doesn't look right, so I want to double check it. No, they're all right. So they're all 1 foot 11 1/4. Now it's only going to work out for you if your overall dimension is 9 feet. So if your overall dimension is 9 feet, you can use that dimension. But if yours is different, you're going to have to determine what it is for your project. So let's look at the louver. There's a line that goes right down the middle, and there is an actual second frame inside there. So do a rectangle like this, offset it 1 inch, and then there's a line that goes right down the middle. Yep. And offset that 0.25, well, let's do 3/8. Offset 3/8 of an inch, half of 3/4. And then I'm going to use my hatch command. So hatch. I'm going to use a user defined hatch. So user defined. Set the spacing to 0.75. Set the origin location to be bottom left. I'll try that again. Origin. Click on it. Origin, bottom left. There we go. So, and then just copy that hatch. So I still need to trim all of this up. I'll do that real quick here. I just started the trim command. I'm just gonna it's hung up there for a second. I could probably actually just get rid of all those red lines. Now that I have my louver here. Let me look at what it looks like in there. Yeah, that one goes across the bottom. Okay. So it actually looks like this. Let me show you what it looks like. Kind of looks like that. And I'll just copy this. There, there, and there. So There's my louver, and there's my guardrail. So it's going to look really confusing once I copy this over there. You're going to start to see, there's going to be lots of lines on top of each other. So it's going to look a lot more confusing once I copy this over. So just be aware of that. That's kind of why I do this to the side. So copy, select all of that, select all of that. And it goes right there. And I'll do it over here too. And then I'll copy this to the middle. Perpendicular snap right there. So, as I said, it's going to start to get a little more complicated. I want to trim all of this stuff behind here out of there, so I could do it by selecting it and then trimming it. I guess I could do that. Trim. And just erase this line. And erase the line there. And there. So all of this stuff is behind that louver. So trim, then erase, E, and right here. Didn't get it. All right, so that's the railing and the louvers. The next items are some of the detail down here. I'm going to offset the stairs here down an inch. That's the thickness of the stairs. I'm going to, this is not in the right location. I'm going to move this over. I'm going to draw a line that goes from here to over to there. Draw a line here over to straight across to there. And then I'm going to add the trim piece down here. Let's see how wide we did that before. So it's 1'6", 18 inches. And then I can hatch this. Use 4-inch. Let's see what 4-inch looks like. Set the origin to bottom left. And let's set the origin to, let's see, center. Now, let me do origin to top left. Hatch. Match properties. Click on that one. There. No, it didn't do it. Should do the origin here. Let's see. Top left. There we go. So we're getting closer now. I'm going to stop the video for now, and then I'll do another one later to add some more detail. So if you have questions, please email me, let me know.